my March 2024 mock paper 1 multiple choice questions. Forgot that I was on mute. So first things first, let's say this equation 1, equation 2, and this is the final equation we want. So we can manipulate equation 1, so we get CH4 in a gaseous state forming C solid plus 2H2. If we do that, well, the delta H will become negative 75 plus 75, obviously kilojoules per mole to the power minus 1. The second one, well, we clearly want 4 H's, so we need to times it by 2. So we get 2H2 gaseous arrow 4H gaseous state. 2H2's cancel out, and then therefore we're left with the final equation. Now how do we get to that point? Well, I've manipulated equation 1, I've times equation 2, so that's all I'm going to do. So all it should be, one second. So all it should be, yeah, is 75, and I've added equation 1 and 2 plus 436, but because we doubled equation 2 times by 2, if you do that, you'll get plus 947. Question 9. Some fuel in a spirit burner is burned, and the heat produced is used to heat a container of water. In this experiment, the mass of water heated is that, temperature rise is that, specific heat capacity is that, what is the amount of heat energy absorbed by the water? So we're going to use Q equals mc delta T, where m is the mass of water, C is the specific heat capacity, and delta T is temperature rise. So therefore it's going to be mc Y. The answer is A. I feel like most students would go between A and B and then maybe go for B because of the plus 273. However, remember, temperature rise, delta T, you don't convert into Kelvin. Don't convert to Kelvin, and that is such, like, if you learn that, you're going to avoid so many mistakes that could possibly happen to test you, trick you out. Which is the correct classification for the element yttrium? So look at the periodic table and just find it. That's the first thing you need to do. It might take you a while. There we go, I found it. It is in the middle of the periodic table, and remember that is D block. So let me just do an imitation of the periodic table. And you've got this other small block here. This is your S block, this is your D block, this is your P block, and this is your F block. And you guys might be like, yeah, I don't need to do that. You do, because I've seen a lot of multiple choice questions like this. Oh, very similar. So in this case, the answer is 11C. Question 12. What is the heat released by each molecule in joules when ethanol undergoes complete combustion? First thing I would do is find out the number of moles. 1 divided by 46. Then I'm thinking, okay, well, they clearly gave me Avogadro's constant, 6.022 times by 10 to the power 23, so they definitely want me to use it. So what will that help me? That will help me get the number of molecules. What I have to do is 1 over 46 times by L, Avogadro's constant. Then, because I want the heat released by each molecule, all I have to do is the heat release, 29,000, but I want it in joules, 29.8 kilojoules, 29,800 joules, divided by the total number of molecules, 1 over 46 times by 6.022 times by 10 to the power 23. This is definitely not an easy question, so if you do struggle with it, or where you get like points like how to construct the final equation, it's not an easy question. You should get 2.28 times by 10 to the power minus 18 joules. So the answer is clearly A. Question 13. In a time of flight mass spectrometer, molecule X is ionized using electrospray ionization. So electrospray ionization X gaseous plus H plus forming SH plus gaseous. Should memorize this equation either way. But let's say you didn't memorize the equation. One thing you could do is eliminate A and C because that's in its liquid state. Remember, for all of these, the ions is in its gaseous state. Must be in gaseous state. So if you knew that key fact, then you can eliminate C and A, and then therefore you're left with B and D, and then you'd probably have to guess. Or you could just memorize the equation and be able to spot it. So 13D. Question 14. Which ion has the largest radius? Remember this key fact. Negative ions have larger ionic radiuses than positive ions. So just by using that key fact, the answer is going to be D, because that's the most negative ion, and the answer is D. And therefore, using this key fact, therefore positive ions have small ionic radiuses, but we were looking for the largest ionic radius. Question 15. 5 grams of an oxide contains this much of molybdenum, was empirical formless oxide. So I can clearly see from A, B, and C, and D, we've only got molybdenum and oxygen. So therefore the amount of oxygen remaining is 5 minus 4, which is 1 gram. Now I can do moles of MO and oxygen. Moles of MO is going to be 4 divided by the MO of that, 96, and 1, the mass in grams of oxygen divided by the MO, 16. But that's not it. 0.04167, 1 divided by 16, 0.065, divided by the smallest molar, so 0.04167, divided by 0.04167, and I should get 1, 2, because obviously anything divided by itself, except for 0 obviously, and a couple of others, but it should be 1. So 0.065 divided by 0.04167, well, that will give me 1.5. So I got 1 to 1.5 ratio, but empirical formula, remember, it's the simplest whole number ratio. So therefore I need to times by 2, and I should get 2 to 3 molar ratio. So MO2O3. The answer is C. Question 16. This one, in my opinion, is difficult. In which pair is the first ionization energy of atom Y greater than that of atom X? So I've got 1s2, atom X, part A, option A, 1s2, 2s2, 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. Now, would that be greater than that of atom X? No, it's in a different orbital. It's going to have more shielding in a higher energy orbital, so it's not going to be A. If I look at B, well, that's, look, 2p4, 3p orbitals, 1 electron, 1 electron, 1 electron, and therefore the final fourth electron must bond to one of these. And then what happens is you got electron pair repulsion. And that makes the ionization energy, in this case first ionization energy, slightly lower. So it wouldn't be greater Y than X. So now I'm left with C and D. If I look at C and D, what is the difference? Well, in C I've got 1s2, 2s2, 2p5 and 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Whereas D I've got 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. That's in another orbital. More shielding, higher energy orbital. and therefore it's not going to have a greater first ionization energy. Therefore the answer is C, and it makes sense. That's got full orbital, 2p6, and if we look at this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to have a full orbital, so the answer is C. Question 17. Which atom has 2 more protons and 2 more neutrons than that? So first thing I would do is I'll calculate the number of neutrons of 5224 Cr. Just do 52 minus 24, top number minus bottom number. That's how that's how you calculate neutrons. 2 more neutrons, therefore this atom A, B and C and D must have 30 neutrons, because 28 plus 2 is 30. But it also has 2 more protons. Well, that's got 24, therefore the bottom number must be 26. But I need 30 neutrons, therefore the top number must be 26 plus 30, must be 56. So it can't be A, it can't be C. So I'm now left with B and D. Well, Iman, maybe you guys are thinking right now, Iman, aren't both of them the same? 5626 Cr, 5626 Fe. Yes, the only thing that's changed is which atom it is. Well, because I've added 2 more protons, it's changed the actual element, the atom, and what I've actually got is iron, 50 Fe, and that's got a proton number of 26. So the answer is D. And in question 10, I should have done that ages ago. What is the percentage atom economy for the production of ethanol from glucose? Percentage atom economy. So first thing, the formula. MR of desired products divided by MR of all reactants times by 100. Why do we times by 100? Is a percentage. Okay, so the MR, what is the question saying? Production of ethanol, so that's the desired product from the reactants, glucose, this is 6H12O6. So the MR of the desired products. Well, remember, for percentage atom economy, we need to include the moles. And we need times the moles by the MR. Because ethanol has got 2 moles of ethanol, so it's going to be 2 times by 12 plus 5 plus 16 plus 1, 2 times by 46 divided by M of all reactants, 72, 12 times by 6 plus 12 plus 16 times by 6, 180 times by 100, 2 times by 46 divided by 180 times by 100, 51.1%. Therefore the answer is C. 10C. And that is the end of the multiple choice questions on my mock paper.